Thank you again for joining us today. On May 19th, our board voted to create Wake Forward, a relief program for the small businesses in our community, supported by $5 million in federal funds from the CARES Act. Joining us today are Danya Perry and Michael Haley from the Raleigh Chamber of Commerce and Wake Economic Development. Commissioner Matt Calabria is also with us today. Thank you all for joining us. Matt, you helped spearhead this effort. I know you've been working closely with our local businesses. What have you been hearing?
Yeah, one of the things that we've been hearing clear is that our local businesses are really hurting right now. We all know that. And while all of us have been affected, small and independently owned businesses have really felt the brunt of the pandemic. So one of the things that we need to keep in mind is our economic well-being, but hurting businesses affects our culture. Our downtowns, for example, took decades to build and are at risk of being shuttered just in a matter of months. So given this threat, it was really clear that we had to step up. And the mainstay of what we're calling the Wake Forward program. The program is going to provide low-interest loans to small businesses that are located in Wake County. We've allocated about $5 million out of the $194 million that the county received from the federal government through the CARES Act. And the hope is to use this money to help small businesses through those low interest loans. And of course, that's going to have a cascading effect to help not just businesses, but our workers, our consumers, and our residents as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Calabria, for your leadership on this. Danya, what types of businesses can apply for Wake Forward funds?
So Wake Forward is open to all businesses physically located in Wake County with up to 100 full-time employees who have lost money due to COVID-19. That's everything from your mom and pop shops who had to close their doors when retail sales weren't allowed to our local restaurants who actually had to pivot to delivery and takeout service, but are still hurting from having to close their dining rooms. We're also seeing a lot of interest from small service providers like barbershops and beauty salons and other professionals and sole proprietors.
Michael, one of the things we've heard a lot about is folks who are struggling, who are sole proprietors or independent contractors, for lack of a better way to describe them. Are they eligible? How does this help them?
They absolutely are eligible, and thank you and the other Wake County commissioners for your leadership in remembering those Wake County residents who do work for themselves. Through this program, you made sure at least $1 million of that $5 million you spoke to earlier will go to support sole proprietors and independent contractors. And too often they do get overlooked in these types of programs. And that's going to make a huge difference for some of our small service providers, as Danya just mentioned, including barbers, hairstylists, personal trainers, massage therapists, and many, many more who've had to shut down entirely due to the close contact nature of their trades.
Thanks, Michael. Danya, you're the Director of Equitable Economic Development at Wake County Economic Development, which means you're uniquely positioned to understand why it's critical for us to inform under-networked and under-connected businesses about Wake Forward. What are some of the ways that you're working to get the word out about this program?
Well, let me just say that it's all hands on deck. We've been working closely with your communications team to get the word out. We've gotten coverage in the local news media, and we're also sharing information via our Wake Forward website and on social media. We've also formed a coalition of business partners in Wake County who are reaching out to their members to let them know about this important relief effort. Last week, the county communications director and I spoke on a community conference call that included key leaders from municipalities and multicultural organizations to encourage them to share the news about Wake Forward within their communities so that everybody has a chance to put their application forward for consideration. It's our role to make sure that the people know about the program, but it's also being administered by the North Carolina Rural Economic Development Center, which is the organization that will review and approve all the applications once they're received.
Thanks, Danya. Michael, I know a lot of folks are going to want to know about the details of the program, especially those small business owners who might qualify. How much money can these small businesses apply for? Tell us a little bit more about the terms of the program.
Sure. Wake Forward lets small businesses borrow up to 2 months worth of lost revenue, up to $50,000. There are no payments for the first 6 months, so this support is perfect for businesses who need to bridge that gap while we weather this crisis. After 6 months, companies will have 4 years to repay the loans at 5.5% interest, and there's no penalty for prepayment. Businesses will need to provide some documentation showing the money they've lost, including recent tax returns and bank statements. If people are familiar with the North Carolina COVID-19 Rapid Recovery Loan Program, the terms under Wake Forward are exactly the same. Important full details are available at wakegov.com/Wake Forward.
There you have it. Danya, could you let people know one more time where they can go to learn more about Wake Forward?
Absolutely. Everything small businesses need to know is on our website, wakegov.com/Wake Forward. And when you're ready to apply, just click the big Apply Now button to get started. Thank you for supporting our small businesses during this unprecedented crisis and for having us on today to talk about Wake Forward. We're going to get through this pandemic together, and I'm truly optimistic that we will come of this even stronger as a community. In the meantime, we can all support our local businesses by shopping locally as much as possible.
Thank you, Danya. Commissioner Calabria, as you know, the Board of Commissioners is very goal and outcome oriented. How does Wake Forward fit with the county's efforts more broadly?
Yeah, well, certainly there's been a lot going on, and I'm really appreciative of Chairman, your leadership and the work of the county commissioners. There's no doubt that our staff and obviously the county commissioners are working really hard to execute really a full court press in virtually every facet of the county's work and public life in the county. No matter who you are, we're working to help you because really everybody's affected by the pandemic. So I think the theme for me is making smart investments in our future and our recovery, and that means making smart investments in our people. For example, we're working really hard to provide additional housing support, rent assistance, those sorts of programs and tools to help make sure that folks are housed. We've had a tremendous food security effort, and even weeks ago had already provided 1 million meals to kids in need and families in need. And actually, one of the things that we enacted right before coronavirus became a household name was what we're calling the Wake Works program, which provides paid apprenticeships and tuition relief to students at Wake Tech who are enrolling in these critical need professions, where even before coronavirus, we had a lot of scarcity and a lot of demand for various professions, whether that's electrician, plumber, IT specialist, you name it. And so it's not only was it the right thing to do, but it was also really good timing. And so I think we're putting the whole person, the whole child back together, and I think we're putting the whole community back together through this work and really leaving no stone unturned.
Thanks, Matt. Well, the Wake County Board of Commissioners will continue to work closely with county staff and our community stakeholders to focus on public health and economic recovery responses to the pandemic we're all facing together. Thank you all again for joining us today to talk about Wake Forward.